Hey guys, welcome back to K2 Beauty. It is me, Taryn, and Kjo is her new name.
Yes, Crystal right here.
Today we're going to do a quick cherry popper that was
Requested.
requested. Good morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. That was requested. We're just going to do a kind of debriefing on brushes. Makeup brushes, what they are used for, what they're intended to be used for, and what we use them for. Because some of the brushes that are supposed to be for one thing, we like to use for others, so as multi-purpose tools.
Yes.
So I'll let Kjo start.
All right, so do you want to start face or eyes? Face?
Sure.
We'll go face. Or do you want to do eyes and I could do face? I don't care. All right, so the first brush we have is this one. It's a double-ended brush right here. This is from Kat Von D. It's the Shade and Light brush. It went towards her contour, Shade and Light contour palette. This side is meant for contouring out your cheekbones around your face. This side is going to be more for your highlighting, whether it's the under eye area, like so, getting in your T-zones, your nose, any place that you're trying to highlight. As you can see, this fits perfectly right at your cheekbones. It's small enough to contour your forehead, or I have a 5 head here, so it's small enough to do such that. I have a few different types of contour brushes. This one I think is a really good one because it's fluffier, so it diffuses a lot of the product out as you're contouring, so you don't have that harsh line. You want a harsher line for specific occasions, specific makeup types. When you're doing more everyday, lighter type of looks where you don't want a bam in your face contour, this is a perfect one to do. I use it as such. I use both of these as such. You could probably use like this side for highlighting tops of your cheekbones, stuff like that. You could potentially use this side for bronzing, but I like to use it specifically for highlighting contour.
The next one is another angled fluffy brush. This one's by IT Cosmetics, and this is a blush brush, but it's kind of the same taper, just bigger, as this contour brush by Kat Von D that Crystal was just explaining. So if it were me, I don't like this type of brush for blush. I like to use actually a flat top brush, and this one is for like your foundation buffing in your foundation, but something about the flat top I really like for the blush too, so that's just me. But this one is for blush, for your cheekbones, the cherry of your cheek. But like I said, you can also, because it's angled, you could use it as more of a diffused contour also. So that's that one.
The next one we have here is going to be a big fluffy, you can probably see, powder brush right here. I use it as such. It's something that I use for my all over powder. I sometimes use it when I'm done with all my makeup. I use it to kind of go over all my spaces.
We're on it today.
All my whole face, to kind of blend in my highlight with my contour, with my blush, with everything, so that it has that seamless where you don't have harsh lines or anything. This is what I use to set my face with. I don't know, you could probably use it potentially for bronzer, I would assume, because it's very fluffy. It will be a diffused kind of bronze look when you try to go at the temples, your forehead. You can definitely use it for a bronzer, but I specifically like to use this as my powder.
And my brush like this at home, I like to use it for my face powder to set it, like she said, and also what she said, I like to diffuse my contour, because I mostly contour. I don't blush very much, and this, I really like these big fluffy brushes to diffuse that contour, so it's really good for that purpose.
Right on.
The next one is another giant fluffy brush. This one can be used as a bronzer. For me, this is too big. I wouldn't use it. I would use it for the same thing as this, but it could be, for our 5 heads, to bronze and add some color to your face.
Absolutely, and that's what I use this brush for. It's a Tom Ford number 5 bronzer brush. I love it because it's a diffusing type of bronzer brush. I try to diffuse all my perimeter stuff as much as possible because that's what you're trying to do is cast shadows when you're contouring, line up.
Cast that shadow.
You know, add sun-kissed glow. You don't want to look like you have just bam lines around your face. So I personally use this. I like to use it on my cheeks. I go over my contour areas with my bronzer with this, and it kind of diffuses. I push it up a little bit. Going this way, I like to go down my neck like so, because you know I have to match my chest. So I like to go down my neck. I think it's big, it's beautiful. I don't think I would use it for anything else but bronzer.
And that's exactly what I use the other fluffy brush for. So just a big fluffy brush is good for your setting powder and blending and bronzer. Wouldn't you say?
I think so, yes.
Any type of big fluffy brush.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about this little sucker right here, the Duo Fiber brushes. They have like short packed, I don't know if you can see that, the short packed, thicker, you know, denser bristles down here, and then it goes into very sparse bristles up here. I was asking Crystal before we started, do you actually use this brush? I have one. She said no, and typically you would use it for applying your your foundation, sorry, and it's supposed to be a very like natural and diffused look, like airbrush.
I don't get that look though. I get lines.
Yeah,
like I can't
really
use them.
streaky. We don't like it. So I told her the only thing that I use this brush for is to remove any excess fallout when I'm doing my shadow or anything else. I just sweep it off my face because the bristles are so light that it doesn't smear the rest of my makeup. So that's what I use this brush for.
It's a good hack. It's a good hack, and maybe I'll get use out of that brush. I just don't like.
Mine's a little bit bigger too, so it just knocks it off.
I just don't like the bristles up, the fibers up here. It's just too thin. I prefer if I'm going to either use this for blush or use this for foundation, and if I'm going to use a brush, I like a flat top kabuki style. Or I like a brush that's densely packed similar to this, or bigger and fluffy if I wanted to do some kind of blush like this. These, I think, give you better results, in my opinion, than a Duo Fiber. I think you get airbrush looks without using this type of brush.
I feel like you can get... Good Lord, Taryn. Sorry. More of an airbrush look from your beauty blenders. And I learned something, it's funny where I learned it, on the package. It's funny you can learn stuff about what you're using from reading the package. Because typically when you're using the beauty blender, they say use it wet, right? Like you wet it, make it nice and soft and use it on your face. But I was reading the back of the package of mine, and it said you can use it dry for full coverage. And I went, what?
It's so weird.
Oh.
It's funny because I've used some of these dry when I'm in a rush and I'm not trying to sit there and do one of these. And I will at times, not my whole face, but like concealer or something. And it gives me a different look. I like it sometimes, but I feel like I like the bigness, and like when it's wet, it just seems like it goes quicker.
It definitely goes quicker. But I was surprised to read that. I was like, who knew you could learn stuff from reading packages?
Yeah, I don't read packages very often.
It said wet your beauty blender unless you want a full coverage look, then leave it dry. So
very interesting.
there you go.
Very interesting. All right, so the next one is going to be this brush right here. This is a buffing foundation brush. I kind of go back and forth between brushes and beauty blenders. I'm a sucker for a beauty blender. It was my holy grail. That's the only thing I used. I hated using brushes for foundation until I came across some foundations that were not performing as I was applying them, and I had to figure out different alternatives. I think this is a fantastic brush. It's a kabuki kind of style brush. It's a super packed. It's a flat top, so you can really buff in your foundation, because the purpose of your foundation is you want it to sink into your skin. You want it to look like skin, just flawless and airbrush. This is that kind of brush. This is what I use it for. I have used it for bronzing as well. I've used it for both. It's whatever I'm into at that moment.
So at home with mine, like I was saying earlier, that I use it for blush or contour. I only use it on my cheek contour though.
Really?
I feel like it gives like, because it's a little bit whiter, I feel like it makes it a little bit more diffused already. And then
interesting.
and then I go back over it with my big fluffy brush. But I only use it on my cheeks, and then I'll use like, you know, an angled one for the rest of my face.
Interesting.
Except my nose, and I use a smaller one for that.
Hold on one moment. Pause it. Or not pause it, but you can
Pause.
cut this out. Because I have the Artis one, which I like. It's very similar.
And so the next one are these densely packed foundation brushes. Well, they come in a whole pack usually. I don't know if yours did. The one I got came with a whole pack, so every single brush in your set is this, like, oval, super densely packed. Like, they are very dense and very soft. And I use, out of my whole pack, I use one. And it was this size, and then it broke, so I used the bigger one. But I use it for my foundation, and I love it. Like, this is what I choose for my foundation. I just love the way it goes on and it smooths everything out. Do you use it for anything else?
Yeah, so this is the Artis, the Elite Oval 7 brush. These were the first brushes to on the market that were in this shape, that were densely as packed as this here, and were on a handle. These brushes are particularly used for individuals applying makeup to themselves. That's what they were created for. These ones are extremely expensive brushes. Right here, I wanted to try to see what the hype was. I absolutely love it. It gives you this airbrush, flawless finish to the face.
And the dense ass friggin' brush.
Right. It's all synthetic bristles as well. It's just a pain in the ass to clean them, like, because the foundation just goes down into the bristles.
Down deep.
I use this one specifically for foundation. I want the Oval 8. It's a bit bigger, just because it seems like I can, like, you could just go like this and then you're done. They have a few other ones where you can use it for contouring your nose, for your concealer, for eyeshadow. I do want to try some of those ones out. I think would be pretty awesome. But as of right now, I got this when it first came to the market. So I've had this for a couple years now, 2 to 3 years now. And absolutely love it. Totally worth the money if you buy it. I would wait till a sale. They're starting to be sold in Sephora now, so wait till like a sale, the VIB sale that just passed. Wait for the November one to purchase these, because I think this particular one is like $60-$70 for just this little one.
See, and the pack I got is on, you know, the cheaper side, and they're just as great. I mean, they feel exactly the same.
Absolutely.
The only thing is, well, these are plastic too.
It's
The handles.
yeah.
My plastic is the same. It just, one of them broke, but I got the whole kit with all the makeup brushes in it. I think there's like 20 some brushes in it or something, and it was like $25 from My Makeup Brushes is the name of it.
And I've seen, I think, like,
they're amazing.
I think Real Techniques came out with some, or I know I've seen them like in Ulta and Sephora and stuff like that.
For, you know,
absolutely less.
cheaper price.
If you wanted to try them out, if you don't want to spend much money on a brush, absolutely.
It was hard to get used to at first too, because I've never used a shape like this.
Right. And a handle that so you're used to like out here.
But it was cool. So the next ones we're going to talk about are your highlighting brushes. And these are 3 of the, you know, common highlighting brushes. This is a fan brush. A lot of people just use it to lightly, you know, go over your cheekbones, the tip of your nose, you know, just because it's very light and it gives you a very nice highlight. I don't use it. What I learned about fan brushes is they're great for facials. So
they are.
if you're using them, or if you're doing an at-home for a mask, it feels really nice on your face too. So I don't use this for makeup typically, but that is what it is for. And this is more of a like cone shape, densely packed brush, also for highlighter. If you want a little bit of a heavier highlight, I would use one of these. And Crystal was saying, was it this one?
Yeah. So I kind of go back and forth. I'm on this one right now. This was like my favorite, the tapered. This is a Sigma F35 tapered highlighting brush. This one is the AVH number A23 brush, and then this is a Sephora Pro fan brush right here. This one right here, if I just want to more diffuse, if I just want to
A sparkle.
yeah,
Instead of a glow.
you know, where I look like I'm glowing from within, that kind of look.
If you want to look pregnant, use this
Yes.
brush.
This is what I tend to use. It's beautiful. I think it blends your highlighter very well without having a harsh line. I am not into the whole stripe down the face. I like it to melt and be with one. People love strips. No, I'm not complaining. It's just it's a personal preference. I prefer not to have a strip down my face. This one does a good job of diffusing that, as is this one. These two right here. So some highlighters that are in that gelée type of formula where you have to kind of scratch the surface to get to the product or have enough product on. I tend to have a little bit harder time picking up with this brush. I think this brush is a little bit too soft to pick up brushes. They're both super soft. The bristles on this one though are not, when you apply, I don't want to say scratchy because that sounds like a negative.
It's a little bit stiffer though.
Yes.
It's still soft, but if you compare these two, this one's like super soft and this one has a little bit more of a scratch to it, is what she means.
Absolutely. So like if you know the Laura Geller gelée highlighters, I don't have it in front of me. Those ones are super hard to pat. It's hard to get through the surface. So something like this really picks that up. The new Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter with Amrezy, this one picks it up better than this one right here. It's all about preference. The softer the bristles, the harder it is to pick up those type of pans. This one I use for ones that I've already scratched surface into, or that are easier formulas like this ABH one right here, where I can just kind of go in like this and you can see it picks that product up extremely well. So it just kind of depends. They both do very similar. They both do very similar jobs. They blend out beautifully, but that's kind of what I use them for. I don't use them for anything else but highlighting. I mean, you could probably use them to...
You can blend, like if you did a contour on your nose, you can use it for your nose because it's small enough. I would still use a smaller one, but in a pinch you can use it.
Absolutely.
And this is about the size that personally I use for my highlighter. I like it. It's just like the perfect size for your highlighter. It's not too much, not too little.
Right.
And it diffuses nicely.
Right.
So our next little set of brushes are these flat top brushes here.
Yes.
These are very short and dense and they're like stiff. So typically we would use these ones for smudging out your eyeliner.
Absolutely.
Would you use it for anything else?
So I use, this one's the MAC 212 right here. This is going to be the natural hair. I know some MAC just changed everything to synthetic, so I don't have any of the synthetic hair, so I can't vouch on how their performance is. But I use this particular one to smoke out liner. Like if I use shadow or whatnot, I use it to smoke out my upper line. On my lid, I'll use it for my lower lash line to smoke out or to pack on the liner and then go in with the pencil brush to smoke it out. That's essentially what I use only this for. This one right here is the Morphe G28 one right here. This particular one, I think it because it's a shorter, it's a lot shorter bristles here. I like to use this if I'm going to carve out my eyebrows. If I concealer, I think
it's so stiff.
Yeah, it's a lot stiffer than the MAC one. It's a little bit thinner than the MAC one right here.
So this is your eyebrow. This would normally be what you use for your eyebrow. And you can see it's angled and it's very densely packed just like that one. Very stiff. So that's what she means. You can use it for your eyebrow as well because it's nice and stiff and it gives you a sharp line. So even the eyebrow brush, the angled one, you can use it for your eyeliner as well. So I think these ones are pretty much interchangeable.
Absolutely.
Depending on your preference.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. That's what I use if I'm trying to do a eyebrow. I have a look that I need to carve out and chisel out. And then, if you wanted to use this for your eyebrows, like the front of your brows, to kind of blend in powders on, in your eyebrows, that's what I would also potentially use it for. But I specifically use it for just carving out my brows.
Right. So since I'm holding this one and I just explained it, I'll explain a little bit further. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills 7B eyebrow brush. And just like we said, it's for carving out your eyebrows, filling them in. It's very great because it just makes it really easy to apply the product. And I usually use it for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, which is what I use for my eyebrows. And then it's great because on the other side you have this spoolie, which you can just flip it around and diffuse your eyebrows so you don't have those Groucho Marx eyebrows.
Absolutely. And I think it gives you extremely realistic hair-like strokes when, especially when you're looking at the front of your brow. That's what you're trying to
really
do.
Thin.
It's perfect. And I would also use it as a wing eyeliner because it is...
Good. Like we were saying, they're interchangeable pretty much because they're so similar.
It's because I like slanted. If I'm going to use a liner brush, I like slanted brushes. I think, and it's super thin. So I think I've never tried it, but I think it'll give you that just super super sharp wing at the end.
Yeah. And also, I only use this to blend in my eyebrows, but you could use it for your eyelashes too.
Absolutely,
it's like a mascara wand, but you could use it to break up your eyelashes and stuff like that too. So moving into your eyes, we have different choices. These are like probably the main ones that we use for your eyeshadows. Go ahead and pick one.
Yes.
You can go first.
All right, so we'll go with this one because this is the first thing. So this is the Morphe E23 brush right here. I use this brush to I just lost my train of thought, to do my transition. This is the first shadow that I used, or the first brush I used to lay down the first shadow that goes on my eyes. It's extremely large, it's fluffy, so you can really get in there and you can diffuse. The bristles are, it's packed, but the bristles move around really well, where it gives you that diffuse, where it covers right above your crease, and it diffuses that eyeshadow that you first lay so that everything else transitions into it beautifully.
Nice and blended.
Absolutely. I'm all about blending.
See, and to me, this brush, I mean, that'd be great for that, but for me, that would be too big, and I'd be like... So I would go down to a smaller fluff brush, which there's, not too much of a difference in size, but I like... And this will do the same thing. It moves just like this one does. This one is probably going to diffuse a lot quicker. This one would take a little bit longer. I could also use it for the deeper color in the corner of your eye, if you still want that corner diffused.
Yeah. I was just looking for another brush here. Similar. So how Taryn was saying how she would use that one, that's how I would use this one. This is my one that I would use for the next color to lay down. So that would be my base color. So if I'm using more of a lighter transition color to deepen up that crease, a couple shades darker, this is the brush I would use to go into my crease and lay that color down. Whereas this brush right here that Taryn would use, I use this one to do more of the detailing. So that's what I use if I want to smoke out my shadows. I use it on my outer corner, and I use it really into my crease. Yep. I go in with my darkest shade with this brush right here. I think it blends in on the eyelid beautifully. I think when you're using shimmers or something, another color on your eyelid, I think it does a beautiful job of blending. It blends for you. This is my holy grail brush. I was just thinking I needed to buy some more. It's a Sigma blending E25 brush. Absolutely recommend that brush to the gods.
Yeah, so I would use these two for the blending and the crease detailing and stuff like that. That one I probably wouldn't use very much, but it would be great for diffusing.
Right.
So we're just going to go in threes about that. So these are the next three eyeshadow brushes. I'm gonna pick this one. This is like a very, very dense cone shape, and I love this for cutting the crease. So just right in the crease, if you want a really sharp look there. Also for the corner of my eye and underneath my eye too for the eyeshadow, because it doesn't move a lot. It's very precise. So anything that you're doing your eyeshadow with that you need the precision, it's kind of like just using a pen or a fat marker. It's really great for the detail of your eyes.
Right, and I use this one right here, so I will go in and lay down shadows with this little flat MAC brush that we just recently talked about right here, and then I will go in with this, and that's what I use to blend out my lower lash line. I'll do it on my upper lash line if I want it to be more smokier. If you want a smoky eye look, you need a pencil brush in your life. This will give you that super smoked out blended look. It's amazing. So then I use this one right here. This is a MAC 242. This is their natural hair. Now it's synthetic. I can't vouch for the synthetic again, but I have a lot of these brushes. This is my brush for everything that I'm packing on my eyelid. It holds pigments. It's meant for pigments, for glitters. If you want to, especially if you're using colors like blues and purples and greens, you need a extremely flat, dense brush. It's my holy grail brush. I will recommend it to everybody. You need it in your life. This is what I use for putting on glitter glue, and then I will go back in with the glitters on top. This is what I blend out. Even if you're using like Stila glitter eyeshadows, I go in and I buff it out using this. This can cut a crease. I think that's what Taryn uses a brush like this for, is to also cut a crease if anything.
Yeah.
It's very precise, it's small, it fits perfectly on your eyelid.
And again, it doesn't move too much, so it has that ability to pack things on. We call them the packer brushes.
Yes.
So I would use either of these. This is a little bit thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much. They're very similar. And there's all kinds of different, shapes and sizes for them. But like Crystal was saying, I would use a packer brush for any very pigmented colors that you really want to be bold on your eye. And by packing, I mean, this is when you use it to literally pack. You're not swipe, not brush, but you're using this motion to pack the color onto your eye. And like she also mentioned, I use it for my crease too, because it is tapered at the top and it is very stiff, so you can also use it. It would be for more of a diffused crease line though.
Absolutely. It diffuses it really well. If you want that gradient, I go in and I'll do it, and then I will go in and I'll just diffuse that edge, and it's a must. This is definitely a must have in your makeup collection.
Yeah, like a fluff brush. If you pick any, I think, brushes for your eyes, I would have a fluff brush, a packer brush, and a pencil brush.
Absolutely.
Those are my three main eyeshadow brushes that I use. That's basically all you need.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can do a whole lot.
I have to have my Sigma. I have to have this one, but those are by far. And I do like to have my flat definer, but those are. That's what I think. That's what you need.
The holy grail of brushes.
Absolutely.
So the Solo one that we have right here, which I don't know how many people use it. I never use it unless I'm doing somebody else's makeup. This is a lip brush. So you can use it if you have a little tub of gloss or something. That wasn't gloss, but I was just showing you the tub. A tub of gloss, or like I said, I like to use it when I'm doing someone else's makeup, so you can wash it and use it on someone else. So I'll just take my lipstick, I'll get some off there, some pigment, and apply it on whoever, and then wash it off.
Absolutely.
So I use it as a reusable.
That's what I would use it for. I think you can also, because it's so skinny and dense, I think it can also be used to do a cut crease with it as well.
Or even diffuse your eyeliner.
Absolutely. I think it's a multi-purpose type of brush.
I would even use it to define my eyebrows with a concealer.
Absolutely.
Underneath.
I would do that too. So it just depends on kind of what you're
I'm
looking
not a huge
for.
lip brush user.
Me neither. I just go in, but like you were saying, for those who, if you're applying stuff to somebody else, that's when you use lip brushes.
So we have 4 brushes left that we're going to talk about today.
Yes, so I will go in with this one right here because this is newer to my collection. So I know it's probably extremely hard to see, but it is a Tightline brush. It's a Wayne Goss 08 brush right here. This brush is a game changer if you want to tightline, if you want to get right on that lash line. You don't want to look like you have a bunch of liner on. You want to get right in that lash line. This does the job. I use this to put gel liner on my bottom waterline, and it is just so small. It's so precise. It does the job for me.
I think you talked about it in a previous
In our
when
haul,
you first got it.
I think so. Yes.
But the next one is very similar.
Yes. So this is a Chikuhodo GSM 13
Oh.
brush.
Every time you say that.
Right.
Chikuhodo.
Chikuhodo. So these are both natural hairs. This brush has been my game changer when it comes to wing liner. It is extremely, so it's hard. I know it's kind of hard to tell. I get this from Beautylicious website, so you may be able to see, but it is extremely thin. It's densely packed, extremely thin. The bristles don't move. It has enough give where I can get a crisp, sharp wing liner. I think this is it.
And the other 2 brushes that we have are very similar to each other, not to the ones that we're. And these are both labeled as tight liner as well. I would not use them as a tight line because they. This is just personally, I wouldn't, because they have too much give. Especially this one. This one's like super long. And it has so much give. I feel like I wouldn't be able to get a good tight line. I would use it for more of a diffused eyeliner or underneath my eyeshadow. Yeah, I mean, eyeshadow underneath my eye again. And also I might use it to spot treat acne or spots with your concealer.
Absolutely. Like this
I wouldn't
one.
use them for my eye.
This one I would only tight line at the top. Like I would, because it's a little bit bigger, so I can move it quicker. Because before I start blinking,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'll use it to tight line like my waterline at the top, but I don't use it for anything else than that. And then this one right here, I absolutely love it. My purpose to purchase it was to smoke out the bottom lash line, and that's what I love it for. It's fantastic. It's small enough, and you can also use it if you want to do inner corner highlighting, or if you want to do highlighting in your inner line. You want it very precise. I think that brush does an amazing job.
And this one's also a Chikuhodo brush, and this one is a Sigma Tightline E16. This one's Chikuhodo. Do you go this thing?
Yeah.
GSN 11.
Yes.
Chikuhodo.
Chikuhodo.
So that is kind of the breakdown of the brushes that we typically use. What they're used for.
Mom.
So
Absolutely.
these brushes here.
All of our tools. You don't need everything. I think if you're starting out with brushes, get stuff that is multi-purpose. Get multi-purpose. You can use brushes for whatever it is. If you have a vision, if it says it's for contour, girl, you could use it for blush, highlight,
Yeah.
bronzer. You could probably use it on your eyes, because I know there's a lot of brushes that you can use on your eyes as eye brushes. Use it for whatever you see a purpose for. I personally prefer to invest in brushes. I think if you have a good brush, you can make anything work. You can have the best eyeshadows. I was trying to see if I have anything up here. Here, let's take this. Pat McGrath. You can have a Pat McGrath amazing eyeshadow right here. But I think if you don't have the right brushes, so you may not be able to make it work. Sometimes you can, but I think it's just investing in the right brushes for you. If you are a newcomer and you don't know what brushes to invest in, I would say the first set of brushes I would probably do is Morphe. I'm not a big Morphe fan to begin with, but I think they're affordable, extremely affordable.
I'm a Morphe fan.
She's a Morphe fan. I'm not a huge Morphe fan. I have issues with their brushes. They tend to fall apart a lot quicker than other brushes I've had longer. But I
Again,
think
for beginners.
absolutely, I think it's great for beginners and makeup artists because you tend to go through brushes and destroy your brushes a lot quicker. I think they do a fantastic job from there. And then I would say, you know, going up from there and, you know, invest here and there in your brushes. Don't do it all at once. There are certain brushes, like I've talked about the Tom Ford one before. This is a $115 brush.
And this one was what, 60 something?
$60 or $70 for the brush. This one right here, beautiful brush. If I lost it, would I repurchase it? No, because of the price point. If it was lower price point, would I repurchase it? Absolutely. I think you can get better brushes, or not better, but same brushes for a lot cheaper. I like Sigma. Sigma is very close to MAC. I know people who are vegans or, you know, cruelty-free. MAC isn't, you're not purchasing MAC, but I think Sigma is right on par with MAC. I do have like Marc Jacobs. I think some Marc Jacobs brushes are beautiful. I'm personally getting into Japanese brushes like the Chikuhodo. Chikuhodo, Hakuhodo, Wayne Goss brushes are made in Japan. I think those brushes are beautiful. And then I think Real Techniques. Real Techniques is...
I'm digging the Real Techniques right now. These are super inexpensive.
Yes.
And they're fantastic. I have a couple of these too.
I use this one to do concealer.
They're pretty too.
Absolutely.
And they stand up.
Yes. And like I said, you could buy a pack that comes with like three brushes, maybe depending, 3 to 4 brushes for like $20, and they perform extremely well. They're considered expensive for drugstore brushes, but they're worth it.
If I can afford it, you can afford it.
I would say get a Real Techniques brush if you're looking for face stuff. Get Real Techniques before you get Morphe, because these will last you longer than the Morphe brushes will.
And they're just so, I love these so much.
They're super soft.
And they do the job.
They do. Absolutely. I think it's just a preference, what your budget is, what your money is. And like I said, start off small. Get multi-purpose. I think when I start
just
off...
buy a set at first of, you know, something. You don't have to buy one at a time. And if you're creative... I know a lot of people who go to Michaels and check out their brushes, and a lot of the Michaels paint brushes are really great for
eyeliners. Especially, I see it a lot for eyeliners.
Yeah. So there's no right or wrong to doing makeup. There's no right or wrong. Like, if you want to put your eyeshadow on with this brush, go for it. It's art. So be an artist and do what you do and find the right brushes for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And like and subscribe to our channel, please.
Yes.
And thank you guys for watching our brush edition of KT Beauty.
Cherry poppers.
Like Crystal. Thanks for watching, guys.
And we'll see ya in our next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye.